Welcome to today's session. Today we are presenting a webinar on role of biopolymer in Evergreen solution resolution, and this webinar is presented by Dr. Professor Balbir Singh Keith. Professor Balbir Singh Keith is her administrative grade professor. Dr. Keith is ranked among the top 2% scientists of the world as per the survey conducted by Stanford University, US. He has published more than 250 research papers in international journals of repute like Sci and Scopus. He has produced 25 PhD students and 4 are in pipeline. His citation index is 7355. His H index is 41 and I-10 index is 138. He is recipient of ICC Award 2018, NIT Jalandhar Best Teacher Award 2018, HIM Science Congress Fellow of the Year Award 2013-2014, NIT Hamirpur Commendation Award 2003, ICAS New Delhi Chapter IOC Excellence in Science Award. In addition, his research group got Golden Paper Award, Young Chemist Award, Young Scientist Awards, and Best Paper Awards. So, now, without further ado, we'll turn the time to our presenter. Yes, welcome, sir.
Thank you for your kind introduction. Are slides visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. The title of my talk is on role of biopolymers in Evergreen revolution. Yeah, my talk will consist of 4 parts: a population explosion scenario, food scarcity and green revolution, green revolution, a curse or blessings, role of biopolymers in Evergreen revolution. So first of all, let's come to the starvation. What is starvation? Hunger remains the #1 cause of death in the world. Diseases like AIDS, cancer, heart attack, and other ailments follow afterwards. If you see globally, about 8.9 of the world's population, 690 million people go to bed on an empty stomach each night. See the situation all over the world. The number of people affected by hunger has been slowly on rise, and if it continues, you will find that it may exceed even 840 million by 2030. Global Hunger Index. What is this Global Hunger Index? The Global Hunger Index is a multidimensional statistical tool which is used to describe the state of countries facing the hunger situation. GHI measures progress and failures in the global fight against hunger, and it is updated every year. In fact, this index, GHI, was adopted and further developed by International Food Policy Research Institute, IFPRI, and was first published in 2006 with the German non-profit organization, NGO. So, this IFPRI, it provides research-based policy solutions to sustainably reduce poverty and hunger. You know, hunger has many faces like increased susceptibility to disease, shortfalls in nutritional status, loss of energy, disability, death due to starvation, and infectious diseases whose lethal course is the result of weakened general health. The GHI is designed to capture several dimensions of hunger in one value, thus giving an overview of the complex problem the countries are facing. So this is how to calculate the hunger index, how to calculate the GHI, where PUN it stands for proportion of the population that is Undernourished, CUW, is a prevalence of underweight children under 5 in percentage, and CM, it stands for proportion of children dying before the age of 5. So this is how to calculate the GHI. Index rank. See, if you see the index rank, if it is 0, it means no one is hungry in that country. If it is equal to or more less than 4.9, that shows a low hunger cases are there. If it is between 5 and 9.9, it shows the moderate hunger. And if it is between 10 and 19.9, the serious hunger cases are there. And if it is between 20 and 29.9, it's an alarming situation. Here it is here in the alarming situation, our country falls. And if it is more than 30, extremely alarming situation is there. And if it is hundreds, you will find it's a bad, very, very bad situation. Who are hungry? That's more important here. Most of the world's hunger live in developing countries. According to FAO statistics, there are more than 1 billion hungry people in the world. 915 million of them are in developing countries. You'll find here around 640 million in Asia and the Pacific, about 265 million in sub-Saharan Africa, about 53 million in Latin America and the Caribbean, and about 42 million in Near East and North Africa. If you see our own country, India ranked 94 out of 117 countries, the global hunger index in 2020. You can see the situation of our country. India is even placed much below to its South Asian neighbors like Nepal, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Now you can see the situation of our own country. The GHI report pointed out that India is suffering from a serious hunger problem this time. The score is, the GHI is 27.2 this time. Now imagine yourself. 14% of India's population is undernourished, and the under 5 mortality rate stands at 3.7%. The situation in our country is not good. It's serious. You'll find the horrifying conditions during the Bengal famine, 1943-44, where about 4 million people died because of starvation. Now I'm coming to the agriculture in Indian economy, which plays an important role. Agriculture plays a vital role in Indian economy. Over 70% of the rural households depend on agriculture. Agriculture is an important sector of Indian economy as it contributes about 17% of the total GDP. Contribution is from agricultural products. Now you imagine. It provides employment to over 60% of the total population. So, besides providing food to the nation, agriculture provides employment to youth, savings to the nation. It contributes to the market of industrial goods. Raw materials to the industrial goods comes from the agriculture and earns foreign exchange for the nation. So, agriculture development is an integral part of overall economic development of any nation. In India, agriculture was the main source of national income and occupation at the time of independence. And agriculture and allied activities like dairy and poultry contribute nearly 50% of the India's nation at the time of independence. Sone ki chiriya. India, the ancient India was called as the golden sparrow. Why? Because it was wealthy, prosperous, and we had established socio-economic system at that time. But unfortunately, it's no more golden sparrow. Why? Because by the time of independence, India was battered, bruised, and left wounded by the English rulers. And I will show you the situation in India before and after division. Major portion of fertile agriculture land were moved to Pakistan and Eastern India after partitioning. Because of which India has to face a lot of food problem. And there was a strong need for the Green Revolution immediately after the independence. It was strongly felt. Why? Because Green Revolution applied, no doubt it was applied all over the world, but the most successful experiment was done in India after independence, keeping in view the Bengal famine. India's ties with destiny. Our first Prime Minister, he said, on the first day of independence, he said, everything else can wait, but not agriculture. Agriculture is the greatest living. India cannot be developed country if it is not developed in agriculture. It was the wording of our first Prime Minister, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru. It was therefore natural that food security was paramount item on Free India's agenda. This awareness led to the Green Revolution. And this Green Revolution was applied during the period 1967 to 1978. Salute to father of Green Revolution, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, who led this Green Revolution project, and in collaboration with Dr. Norman Borlaug from Mexico, who supported this Green Revolution through introduction of high-yielding variety of wheat seeds. We should salute this person who could bring Green Revolution to our country. Another hero who played important role in Green Revolution was Padma Bhushan Gurcharan Singh Kalkat. He played an important role in bringing the Green Revolution in our country. So, because of that Green Revolution, today you will find that our markets, they are flooded with various types of food. They are flooded with different types of vegetables, fruits, food grains, whatnot. Everything is there in the market. And this Green Revolution was brought at the cost of intense or immense use of various types of chemicals. Agrochemicals were used in excessive doses, and because of that, the Green Revolution resulted in a record grain output of 131 million tons during the period 1978-79, which could establish our country as one of the world's biggest agriculture producers. So that was the achievement. The secret of success was the strong partnership between the scientists and the farmers. So that was secret. It was published in the Illustrated Weekly of India on May 11, 1969. The secret of success of Green Revolution in India. And Punjab became the food bowl of India. Salute to the farmers of Punjab. And Indian agriculture has made rapid strides afterwards, from food shortage and import to self-sufficiency and exports, from subsistence farming to intensive and technology-led cultivation. And today India is the front-ranking producer of many crops in the world, and ushered in through the green, white, blue, and yellow revolutions. But the thing is, Green Revolution, a curse or blessing? That's to be seen now. That's very important. See the vision of Dr. M.S. Swaminathan in 1968 in the Indian Science Congress, Varanasi. He told, and he warned the farmers and he warned the scientists, intensive cultivation of land without conservation of soil fertility and soil structure would lead ultimately to the springing up of deserts. Irrigation without arrangements for drainage would result in soil getting alkaline and saline. See the vision of that person in 1968. He warned both the farmers and the scientists because we should use the optimum doses of agrochemicals. Its overdoses may lead to the springing up of deserts. He warned and said, indiscriminate use of pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides could cause adverse changes in biological balance as well as can lead to an increase in the incidence of cancer and other diseases. So the toxic residues present in the grains and other edible parts. So the situation which we are facing today now because of chemical food. Today we are eating chemical food, we are drinking chemical drinks, and we are taking chemical fruits and all that. Chemical vegetables. We are everywhere is chemical, because of which we are facing a lot of ailments now. And this person, see the vision of this person, he warned in 1968. But that time no one bothered about this statement. It may only lead us to an era of agriculture disaster in the long run, which is happening actually today, rather than to an era of agriculture prosperity. Now we are facing a lot of problems these days. People are facing problems like asthma, birth defects, neurological effects, cancer, hormone disruption, Parkinson's disease, whatnot. No doubt, markets, they are flooded with various types of food grains, vegetables, fruits, dry fruits, and so on. But they all contain a lot of chemicals, insecticide, pesticide, fungicides. Help, I cannot breathe. So people are facing a lot of problems. A lot of health problems have come up now because of these agrochemicals injection in the food. What are consequences of this intensive agriculture? Poisoning of soil has taken place. Crop yields are very low. Crops have become prone to diseases, and the marginal farmers, they are committing suicide because of successive crop failures. The soil has become saline. Salinity has increased. You say here, because of overdoses of these agrochemicals. If you take the example of DDT, if you are using 0.02 ppm of this DDT, and with the wash it's going to the water sources where planktons they go to the body of planktons. These planktons, they are eaten by the herbivorous fish. Herbivorous fishes are eaten both by birds and the human beings as well as by the carnivorous fish. And the birds and herbivorous fish, they are eaten by the human being also, and carnivorous fish is also eaten by the human being. And you will find that at each trophic level, the concentration of this triple D is going to increase at each trophic level. This is the biomagnification. And ultimately, you will find that we started with 0.02 ppm, and in the human body, it keeps on increasing, and it becomes very, very high. You can imagine yourself and how much we are poisoning our body through such hazardous chemicals, which we are taking along with our food chain. So you'll find here that every middle class Indian eats approximately around 2 kilograms of pesticides every year. The pesticide content in vegetables that we eat are at least 100 times higher than those that we are recently found in cola samples and other drinks. Once fertile land of Punjab is becoming barren, and you'll find 1 out of 7 cases of cancer are hastened due to high amount of pesticides in the diet. A lot of problems are coming up because of such agrochemicals. Let me give you the examples here. The apple in the mid, you'll find this is very bright and shining. Good color is there. It can fetch a good market value. but it is chemically treated apple. And the apples in the periphery, they are original, without any chemical treatment. This ethaphone, which is in chemistry, you can call it as chloroethyl phosphonic acid. If you get the washing with this at a dose of 2 to 3 ml per liter of water 1 week before the harvesting of the fruit, and immediately after 1 week, you'll find that you'll get a very good color apple. But this is chemically treated apple. It may cause health hazards. Similarly, we can increase the shelf life of the fruits just by making use of 4% solution of calcium chloride. And we can go for quick ripening of fruits by making use of calcium carbide. This calcium carbide releases acetylene. This acetylene is artificially produced, and it mimics the ethylene, which is a natural aging hormone, and can be used for the quick ripening of the fruits. So these are the chemical techniques which people are using these days, but at the same time they are poisoning our food, they are poisoning our vegetables, they are poisoning our fruits, which is causing a lot of health hazards. You'll find we are making a lot of use of fungicides, herbicide, insecticide, and whatnot. And you can compare the use of such agrochemicals which India is having today with reference to the world. We are making a lot of use of such agrochemicals in the form of like carbendazim, difenoconazole, ziram, hexaconazole, dodin, propergite, captan, and so on. Oxytocin, everyone knows about it. Now people are giving the injection of oxytocin in case of vegetables and fruits. And even for quick milking of the cows. So you'll find that how all over the world people are making use of extensive use of agrochemicals for the more and more production of the crops, food grains. In India, the pesticide industry is dominated by insecticides. Mostly we are making use of a lot of insecticides, around 65% we are using the insecticides. This is followed by herbicide, around 16%, and fungicide about 15%, and others about 4%. And last 4 years, 10 years, herbicide consumption increased up to 25% of the total pesticide consumption. So our country is making a lot of use of such hazardous agrochemicals. So now we are coming to the solution. Do not panic and go for organic. So here we have to take care that we should avoid such chemical pesticides in fertilizers and plant growth regulators, and we have to go for some green manures, farmyard manures, use of vermicompost and biological nitrogen fixation, etc., etc., so that we can avoid the use of such hazardous chemicals in our food. A lot of advantages of such organic food are there. It's a fresh food, natural one. So the role of organic agriculture, whether in farming, processing, distribution, or consumption, is to sustain and enhance the health of ecosystem and organisms from the smallest in the soil to the human beings. This is the statement of International Federation of Organic Agriculture Movements. So we have to take care of our ecosystem, as well as we have to take care of the health of all the living organisms on this earth planet. Now, some serious questions we face today. India will be the most populated country in the world by 2030. That's the main problem this time. The population explosion in India. Main problem. Which you don't know. Yes, we should know about that. We should be aware about that. It's a very important question. India be the union of 25 states and 7 union territories. At present, our population is around 1.37 billion. India is the world's second most populous country after People's Republic of China. India occupies hardly 2.4% of the world's land surface area and is home to about 17.5% of the world's population. You can imagine yourself. We are overcrowded. This is a population explosion. Very serious situation is there in our country. Our land area is very less in comparison to the China and other countries. See the population explosion in India. So we have to be very careful now. Once Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam said, right now we grow about 250 million tons of food in 170 million hectares of agricultural land. With urbanization by 2030, less than 100 million hectares may be available, while food requirement would rise. Because the population explosion is there, food requirement is increasing day by day. We have also to look at increasing crop yield, how to increase the crop yield without harming the economy, the ecosystem, and without harming the health of the living organisms. Another problem is the drought. You'll find that throughout the world, roughly 2.5 billion people, that's about 30% of the world's total population, live in drought-ridden areas. And these drought-ridden areas cover around 40% of the world's total land surface. If you see our own country, India, about 60% of geographical area is vulnerable to droughts. Drought is another problem. So, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who's considered as the torchbearer of the rural knowledge revolution, again, he gave more stress on second green revolution. He said, we have to go for second green revolution at any cost now, keeping in view the population explosion. He stressed for availability of dependable, high-quality bioseeds and organic farming. So, keeping in view our population explosion and drought conditions, we have no time to relax. We have to shape our agriculture future. Because our country is population-rich country, but land-hungry country. We have no other option except to produce more food grains and other agricultural commodities per unit of land. Because in our country, there are a lot of biotic and abiotic stresses are there. And such a challenge can be met only by harnessing the best in frontier technologies and blending them with our rich heritage of ecological prudence. Eco-technologies for an evergreen revolution should be the bottom line of our strategy to shape our agriculture future. And we have to shape our agriculture future, keeping in view the evergreen revolution. So, how to go for evergreen revolution? We can follow the following the steps like organic agriculture, green agriculture, eco-agriculture, EM agriculture, and one straw revolution. We have to go for different types of steps so that we could meet out the evergreen revolution in our country. Now I'm coming to the role of super absorbents or biopolymers in evergreen revolution. How the biopolymers can play an important role in the evergreen revolution. That's very important here. Before going further, let me give the small introduction about the super absorbents. What are these super absorbents? These are three-dimensional polymeric networks consist of hydrophilic cross-linked macromolecules. They are three-dimensional networks and retain large quantity of water or any other fluid without dissolving themselves. That's a quality of the super absorbents. These super absorbers, they have got great affinity for water and other aquatic fluids because of the presence of some functional groups like COH, OH, CONH2, and SO3H, etc. These are hydrophilic functional groups. And these super absorbers, because they can respond to various types of stimuli like temperature, pressure, pH, and other stimuli, external stimuli, and that's why we call them as smart polymers also. They have got a lot of properties, these superabsorbents, like they have got high tensile strength, they are highly biodegradable, that you can say they are eco-friendly in nature. They can retain structural integrity even after taking up a lot of aqueous fluid. They retain their structural integrity without getting themselves dissolved. And they are chemically diversity is there. You can prepare large number of such types of materials, and excellent biocompatibility. Because of their excellent biocompatibility, they are of great importance in biomedicals these days. And they got high permeability and viscoelasticity. Lot of such characteristics of such materials are there. That's why they are used in diversified fields. So, because I am concentrating my talk on agriculture use only, so you'll find here, this is the Japanese, how they are using such materials for the for growing vegetables, fruits, etc. That is farming without soil. This is a new Japanese technique, makes growing fruits and vegetables possible in any environment by making use of such materials. So I'm coming to the work being carried out at our laboratory at NIT Jalandhar. What work we have done in this direction. So here we are making use of various types of natural backbones like Slagugal, Commiphora mucul, Psyllium, Gum ghati, Gum targicans, Gum arabica, various types of natural backbones we are making use. And I'm showing you one of the study we have carried out in our lab. Here we have taken the gum xanthum, and our aim was to prepare the device which could be used for the control of biofertilizers, urea, potassium nitrate, and we also studied the moisture retention properties by making use of such materials in different types of soils like sandy soil, clay soil, mixture of both types of soils. And we also studied the eco-friendliness of such materials through biodegradation studies. And biodegradation was carried out under different conditions like soil burial method, composting method, vermicomposting methods, etc. And we also studied impact of such materials in the soil on the plant growth also. So that was the aim of our study, and we prepared these materials under different reaction conditions like under the microwave conditions, gamma radiation conditions, and chemical method. So basically use of chemical initiators also. And we could prepare different types of materials like semi-IPN, IPN, and binary cross-linked copolymers. So that was the aim. So now I will concentrate myself on the use of such materials in agrochemicals, agriculture and horticulture. So the materials are already discussed. They are prepared under different reaction conditions. And now here comes what is the need of moisture retention devices? Why we should retain the moisture in the soil? You'll find that under drought-ridden regions and areas with scanty rainfall, there is need to conserve moisture for the growth of vegetation. We have to conserve moisture in the soil so that there is proper vegetation, proper growth of plant is there. So this new class of polymers, which we call as smart polymers, has proven to be the boon to the agriculture sector. Some smart materials, these smart materials, they act as mini water reservoirs. You find that these smart materials, they act as mini reservoirs. These biopolymers, they act as mini water reservoirs for the conservation of moisture in the soil, so that there is proper growth of plants and we could get proper crop yields. Second is swelling study of semi-hypens. Instead, we study their properties, and we also study how much water uptake is there by such materials. And these semi-hypens, you'll find that these are the studies of our own laboratory, and different types of samples we prepare in the laboratory, and you'll find yourself how they are maintaining the structural integrity. That was more important after taking up a large amount of aqueous fluid. And these are the IPNs prepared, and before and after uptake of aqueous fluid. And then comes the swelling studies of binary tossed-in copolymers, which was synthesized under different conditions, again before and after water uptake. So moisture retention studies were carried out in different types of soils, like sandy soil, sandy plus clay soil, and clay soil. And you'll find that we could conserve or retain the moisture in the soil for a longer period. And all these are the studies which we carried out in our laboratory. And you find in different types of soils which we could maintain the moisture for a longer period with the help of such materials. So they see in this table of form, you'll find here in the control, and the other test samples which we prepared in our laboratory. We use such materials for the conservation of or retention of moisture in the soil, and we could retain the moisture in the soil for a longer period in comparison to the control soil. So next part of the application of such materials as controlled fertilizer release devices. Can we use such materials for the controlled release of fertilizers or not? We use these materials for the controlled release of fertilizers, and then we also studied their biodegradation behavior. So, need of controlled release fertilizer devices. Why? Why we should go for controlled release of fertilizers? Why? What is the need? The need is after effects of green revolution. As I have already shown you, there are a lot of side effects of green revolution because our food is being poisoned with various types of chemicals these days, various types of insecticide, pesticide, fungicides, and whatnot. So we have to be very careful now about our health. So we can make use of such green materials for the controlled release of fertilizers so that our ecosystem is not damaged. Our underground water should not get poisoned, and our health should not get poisoned because of the overdosing of such chemicals. So these materials, they can be used for the control release of agrochemicals so that optimum release is there and no overdosing is there. Second point here is high water solubility of fertilizers. You know, if you go for overdosing of agrochemicals, you know, all these agrochemicals, they are highly soluble in water. Only plants uptake only small proportion of that, only small fraction of the agrochemical which we are applying in the field, they are taken up by the plant roots. The rest, because of high solubility, go to the underground water table, or with the water flush, they go to the natural water sources where biomagnification and other side effects take place. A rising cost of the fertilizers. You know, if the farmers are going for over use of fertilizers, that is at the cost of their economy. If you require only 0.1 ppm of fertilizer and farmer is applying 10 milligram of fertilizer, or is applying around 10 gram or 1 kg of fertilizer, it means it's at the cost of the farmer, at the economic cost of the farmer. So economy plays an important role. Farmers have to face the financial problems necessarily. And at the same time, poisoning of soil is taking place, poisoning of water table is taking place, and poisoning of the aquatic life is also taking place along with we people. Increasing BOD and COD levels. Because of overdosing of agrochemicals, we are increasing the BOD and COD of the water. eutrophication and biomagnification is there, already discussed. Eutrophication is taking place because of eutrophication. The aquatic animals, they get suffocated and they ultimately die. And biomagnification, we are pausing. Such chemicals, they are getting concentrated in our body, and we are facing a lot of health problems. And last one is here is sustainable use of fertilizer. Yes, optimum use of fertilizer is very important, because as I already told you, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan warned the farmers and the scientists in 1968 itself. He said we have to go for sustainable use of fertilizers, not at the cost of our ecosystem, not at the cost of our health, and not at the cost of our soil. We have to take care of that. We have to make the optimum use of such agrochemicals. So in our lab, we have prepared the extract of organic vermicompost, and this organic fertilizer we prepared in our laboratory, and then its control release was done to the devices prepared in the lab. And we studied the impact of control release of different fertilizers on plant growth. It was done in our laboratory itself. The plant taken was the black grains. This is a scientific classification of the black grains. And you'll find here the impact of biofertilizer on plant growth. You'll find here we have taken the negative control, positive control, and test samples. In case of negative control, you'll find we have not used anything. We have no fertilizer was given to the negative control. In case of positive control, we have given the fertilizer, biofertilizer to the plants directly. And in case of test samples, third row, you'll find that we have released the fertilizer, biofertilizer, through the device we have prepared in our laboratory. That's through the control release. And results are in front of you. You'll find that here that through control release, we could get better results, better growth of the plant is there as compared to the negative control and as compared to the positive control. And this is the test sample. And these are all the test samples where the control release of biofertilizer was done to the plants through the devices we have prepared in our laboratory. You'll find we got a better growth as compared to negative control and the positive control. And these are all the studies which we carried out in our laboratory. And the studies were carried out for about 55 days. And we also studied the impact of control release of biofertilizers on the roots. Well, you know, these are the root nodules, and these root nodules occur on the roots of the plants that are shared with symbiotic nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Symbiotic relationship is there. Under nitrogen limiting conditions, where nitrogen is less, what happens? Capable plants form symbiotic relationship with a host-specific strain of bacteria known as rhizobia, and these nodules, they contain bacteria rhizobia, and those bacteria help in the fixation of nitrogen. And as you know, nitrogen is required for the vegetative growth of the plant. For the better growth of the plant, nitrogen is required. And these bacteria, they help in fixation of nitrogen from the atmosphere, and that nitrogen is used by the plants. So here, you'll find impact of control release of biofertilizer on the plant growth. These are the studies which were carried out in our laboratory, how these are important for how this control is important for the better growth of the roots. And you find here that we could develop the nodules. Nodules could develop with the help of control release of biofertilizer through the devices which we have prepared in the laboratory. You see the nodules. You see the nodules, and which were absent in case of negative control and positive control. Now imagine yourself how important control release is there. Similarly, in this case, you'll find in case of tests, and these are all test samples, and we got better root growth and along with nodules. That's why, because of the development of such nodules, nitrogen fixation nodules, we could get better vegetative growth, better aerial part growth of the plants. So this is these are the results in tabular form. You'll find your negative control, positive control, and these are all test samples. These are the samples which we prepared in our laboratory, and through these samples we did the control release of biofertilizer to the plants, and you'll find yourself the difference in shoot length, root length, fresh plant weight, and dry plant weight between the negative control, positive control, and the test samples. And we got better results through control release of biofertilizer to the plants. And we also studied the control release of urea through such devices, and studied the plant growth and root growth. And again, we took the positive control, negative control, positive control, and the test samples. And again, the studies were carried out for about 55 days. And you'll find yourself, we got better results with the control release through those devices. Say yourself, these are aerial parts, these is the growth of the root parts through the devices. The impact of control release of urea on the plant through the devices. And these are the results in tabular form. You'll find again the shoot length, root length, fresh plant weight, and dry plant weight. We got better results through the control release of the urea through the device, to the samples we prepared in the laboratory, and better results are there in comparison to the negative control and the positive control. We also studied that the control is of potassium nitrate on plant growth. Again, another agrochemical, potassium nitrate. It was also studied for control release to the devices, and you will find that this is again the positive control, and these are test samples, and we got better results with the control release of the potassium nitrate through the devices we prepared. And these are the results both for aerial growth and the root growth. See here, the impact of control is of potassium nitrate on plant growth. You'll find yourself here. And this is the table of form here again, and you can compare the results yourself for various parameters like shoot length, root length, fresh plant weight, and dry plant weight, and we got better results to the control release. So we also studied the degradation behavior, because whatever the materials we are preparing in the lab, they should not harm the nature. They should be eco-friendly. In order to study, in order to ascertain whether they are really eco-friendly in nature or not, we studied their biodegradation behavior through various methods like soil burial method, composting method, and vermicomposting methods. And the biodegradation stage or period of 70 days was studied, and different stages were studied through FTERs and HCM techniques. The first stage was after 7 days, second stage after 35 days, third stage after 70 days. And you'll find here that in soil burial method, at the end of 70, the studies were carried for about 70 days. At the end of 70 days, you will find a lot of the material got degraded. And this is the rate of degradation per day. We calculated, and most of the materials, they got degraded more than 70%. This shows the material was eco-friendly in nature. Similarly, in the case of composting, you find more degradation of the material was there, and you'll find yourself that again shows the material is eco-friendly in nature. It doesn't cause any, it gets degraded. It gets degraded at the end of the life cycle and get mixed up in the soil itself. And degradation studies were also carried out and another, using another condition as the vermicomposting conditions. Again, you'll find here the material gets degraded to the maximum extent at the end of the 70 days. So this is how the journey of smart polymers started in agriculture sector. Actually, KVKs, Krishi Vigyan Kendra, which are working under the direction of ICMR, they started such material using a use of such material during 1980s for the agriculture prosperity. And here, this is how the Indian agriculture started with the raw hand to the refined hand, and he is the traditional farmer. This farmer doesn't have any much technology, and how this is the smart farmer having the latest technology and giving the best output to the nation. So this is how, if we make use of technology, we can have better output. And chemists and scientists can play an important role in bringing the evergreen revolution in our country. And our journey with smart polymers continues to fulfill the ambition of His Excellency former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, a great man. So this is my research group. I'm highly thankful to my research group who are working very hard. They are working day and night, and this is because of them I'm presenting this work to you people, and this is their hard work, and they are, some of them have already completed their PhD and are having good positions, and they are serving the nation and abroad also. So this is a quote from Albert Einstein: a person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. So we should always try something different in our life. That's very important. And keep on doing something new. And keep your face always towards the sunshine, and shadow will fall behind you. We should always be optimistic in our life. We should always have positive attitude. Be optimistic. Definitely the day will come when you will reach your goal. This is our beautiful NIT campus, our campus, beautiful campus, NIT Jalandhar campus. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Students, now you guys can ask questions. You have to send me on my WhatsApp. Okay. So, sir, here the first question:
Yeah,
How how biopolymers can help in agriculture, like in case of hydrogels?
these are hydrogels which I presented to you.
Um,
These are the hydrogels only which I present. The hydrogels are nothing but biopolymers.
okay. So, how like what type of
Whatever
hydrogels?
whatever the control release we did, it is through hydrogels only.
Okay, and actually now we are using we are forming some hydrogels by using guargum and all these things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how we can
We are making
exactly?
use of natural backbones here so that they are eco-friendly in nature and they are biodegradable.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Any more question, please?
Yes, sir. One more question.
Yeah.
What type of cross-linking agents can be used to improve the stability of bio-based hydrogels?
There are various types of cross linkers which you can make. You can make either synthetic cross linkers, or you can make use of natural cross linkers like citric acid, and even you can make use of boric acid. Boric acid, it has got insecticidal property, so that there is no adverse impact of chemicals on the soil also.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes. I think we have covered all questions.
yeah,
Okay, so Professor K,
yeah,
thank you. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again for joining us.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, bye.